I used to be confident, thinking that my financial stability, my style, and my calm demeanor were more than enough to win the heart of any woman at any age. But the truth hit me hard after my marriage ended. That experience woke me up. My ex-wife only ever wanted one simple thing from me, something I never realized, something I never gave. And over the years, through deep conversations with countless women, I've come to understand this. Most of them wanted the exact same thing. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it has the power to draw them in more strongly than anything else. Just one quality, and it changes everything. I'm Vernon, and in this video I'll reveal 5 hidden reasons why this one quality matters so much, and why women who lived, loved, lost, and learned are drawn to men who show it, even if they don't say it out loud. I'd be truly grateful as you'd subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, not just to support the journey, but so you don't miss the kind of insights that might shift how you understand love, connection, and yourself. If you're ready to discover what truly makes a mature man irresistible to discerning women who know their own worth, let's explore these 5 surprising secrets together. Number 1. Emotional availability without neediness. Women over 60 have lived enough life to spot emotional imbalance a mile away. They've been through relationships where they had to guess, chase, or overextend themselves just to feel emotionally close to someone. So now what they crave is simple: a man who's open but grounded. Emotional availability isn't about oversharing or constantly seeking validation. It's about being present with your heart open without expecting someone else to carry your pain. It's the ability to say, "This is how I feel," without making it her responsibility to fix you. I remember a conversation with my friend Catherine, who was explaining why she'd chosen to be with Harold rather than several other men who'd pursued her. "Harold is emotionally available," she said, "but he doesn't need me to fix him or complete him. He's open about his feelings, but he's not drowning me in them. It's the perfect balance." What Catherine was describing touches on the first secret that makes men irresistible to women over 60: emotional availability without neediness. The ability to be open, vulnerable, and emotionally present while maintaining your own emotional stability and independence. This is a sophisticated balance that only comes with emotional maturity and self-awareness. The ancient Greek concept of soprosine refers to the wisdom of knowing yourself and maintaining balance in all things. For mature men, this translates into being emotionally available, willing to share feelings, listen deeply, and connect authentically, while not being emotionally dependent or requiring constant reassurance and validation. Catherine explained that Harold could talk openly about his concerns regarding his health, his relationships with his adult children, and his fears about aging. But he didn't expect her to solve these problems or carry the emotional weight of them. He shared his inner world with her as an act of intimacy, not as a burden or responsibility he was transferring to her. This emotional availability without neediness manifests in several ways that women find deeply attractive. These men can express their feelings without becoming overwhelmed by them, share vulnerabilities without requiring others to fix or rescue them. Emotional availability combined with emotional stability is the strongest predictor of relationship satisfaction for women over 55, according to research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. The study found that women consistently rate this balance as more attractive than traditional masculine traits like stoicism or emotional distance. So how can a man begin to embody this balance? It starts with building a habit of self-reflection, learning to name your feelings without rushing to suppress or offload them. Practice sharing, not spilling. Offer your emotions as a bridge to connection, not as a cry for rescue. Learn to sit with discomfort, both your own and hers, without trying to control the outcome. And most importantly, cultivate emotional self-reliance so that when you open your heart, it's not seeking rescue, it's seeking resonance. This emotional balance naturally creates the foundation for our next secret, a form of confidence that can only come from decades of self-discovery and acceptance.
Number 2. The confidence of self-knowledge. Building on the foundation of emotional availability without neediness, there's another quality that women over 60 find absolutely magnetic in mature men. But here's the confidence that comes from genuine self-knowledge, not the brash confidence of youth that's often rooted in bravado or insecurity, but the quiet assurance that comes from decades of learning who you are, what you value, and what you stand for. Even I fell into this exact confusion 5 years ago. I believed I had it all figured out. I was knowledgeable, generous with my wife, lived in a beautiful home, drove a luxury car, and carried myself with calm confidence. I thought that was enough. But something began to change as I passed the age of 55, not just within me, but within her. My ex-wife started longing for something more subtle, something I didn't yet understand. She wanted confidence, yes, but not the kind rooted in pride. She needed presence without ego, and that quietly clashed with who I was at the time. While I was still enjoying my afternoons with upbeat tango music and a glass of wine, she found comfort in silence, in reading a novel by the window, sipping warm tea while the soft sun poured through the trees, and listening to birdsong echoing in the distance. We began to argue, not out of anger, but out of unmet expectations. She wanted me to slow down and savor the quiet moments with her, while I wanted her to be my dance partner every day. Two people, still caring for each other, but yearning for different kinds of connection. And neither of us knew how to meet in the middle. The existentialist philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre wrote about authentic existence. Living in accordance with your own values and choices, rather than trying to meet others' expectations. Men who've reached this level of self-knowledge possess a form of confidence that's deeply attractive, because it's based on reality rather than pretense. This confidence of self-knowledge manifests in ways that women find irresistibly attractive. These men express their preferences without apology or defensiveness, make decisions based on their values rather than others' opinions, disagree respectfully without becoming argumentative, and show genuine interest in others because they're not consumed with self-presentation or approval-seeking. When a man knows who he is and is comfortable with that identity, he doesn't need constant validation, approval, or reassurance from his partner. This creates space for the woman to be herself rather than constantly managing his insecurities. Mature confidence doesn't mean thinking you're perfect. It means accepting your imperfections while still maintaining self-respect and dignity. Women find this realistic self-assessment far more attractive than false bravado or defensive denial of weaknesses. So, spend time in honest self-reflection, identifying your genuine preferences, values, and boundaries, and then expressing these authentically in your relationships. This isn't about becoming rigid or inflexible. It's about knowing yourself well enough to be genuine rather than performative. Have you ever felt that quiet gap between what you needed and what your partner wanted? How did you navigate it? Or did it grow wider over time? I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Sometimes sharing our truth helps others feel less alone in theirs. When a man embodies this kind of confidence, it often opens the door to something even more valuable, a trait women in their later years deeply crave, yet seldom encounter.
Number 3. Generous attention in a distracted world. In today's world, attention is scattered, constantly pulled between screens, schedules, and shallow interactions. For many women over 60, what they crave most isn't grand gestures or constant conversation. It's presence. Not just physical presence, but emotional presence. The kind of attention that says you're the only person that matters right now. Generous attention isn't about staring at someone or listening with a fake smile. It's about tuning in, fully, willingly, and consistently. Putting down the phone, turning off the TV, looking her in the eye and hearing what's being said. And sometimes, what's not being said. The Buddhist concept of mindful presence teaches that true connection requires the temporary suspension of your own agenda to make space for another person's reality. Mature men who understand this create what I call attention sanctuary, moments where the other person feels completely seen, heard, and valued. This generous attention manifests in several ways that women find deeply attractive. These men remember details from previous conversations, ask thoughtful questions that show genuine interest, maintain eye contact during conversations, and create space for others to express themselves fully, without interruption or judgment. What makes this particularly precious to women over 60 is that generous attention has become increasingly rare in our digital age. Most people, regardless of age, struggle to be fully present in conversations. They're thinking about their next response, checking their devices, or mentally multitasking. When a mature man offers genuine presence, it feels like a rare and valuable gift. The generous aspect is important. This isn't attention given reluctantly or as a strategy to get something in return. It's attention offered freely because the man genuinely finds other people interesting and valuable. This authenticity is what makes it so attractive. The practical application is to practice what I call attention discipline, consciously choosing to be fully present in your interactions with other people. This means putting away distractions, listening more than you speak, and showing genuine curiosity about other people's thoughts and experiences. Such generous presence doesn't stand alone. It often flows into a more nuanced strength, leadership rooted in respect, not control. That's where we're headed next.
Number 4. The wisdom to lead without controlling. Alongside emotional presence, authentic self-assurance, and mindful listening, there's a fourth quality that stands out to women over 60 as uniquely compelling. My colleague Margaret shared something insightful about her relationship with Thomas, a 71-year-old retired engineer she'd been with for 2 years. Thomas has this wonderful way of guiding situations and relationships, she said, but he never makes me feel controlled or diminished. He leads with wisdom rather than authority, and it makes me feel both supported and free. What Margaret was describing touches on the fourth secret, the wisdom to lead without controlling. The ability to provide guidance, direction, and stability while respecting others' autonomy and decision-making capacity. This is a sophisticated form of leadership that can only come from emotional maturity and genuine confidence. Thomas, Margaret discovered, had a natural ability to guide difficult conversations toward resolution without dominating them. When they faced decisions about travel plans or social activities, he would offer his perspective and preferences clearly, while making space for her input and ensuring her voice was equally valued. He led by example rather than by demand. These men offer guidance and perspective without insisting on being right, make decisions collaboratively rather than unilaterally, provide stability and direction without being rigid or domineering, and support others' growth and autonomy rather than trying to manage or change them. What makes this particularly appealing to women over 60 is that many have experienced relationships where leadership was expressed through control, manipulation, or dominance. They're attracted to men who can provide the benefits of leadership, stability, guidance, protection, without the costs of feeling controlled or diminished. This quality also extends to how these men handle social situations, family dynamics, and community involvement. They step up when their skills and experience can be helpful, but they don't need to be the center of attention or the person making all the decisions. Research from the Center for Leadership Studies shows that what researchers call servant leadership, leadership focused on supporting others rather than controlling them, is consistently rated as more attractive and effective than authoritarian or laissez-faire leadership styles. Women particularly respond positively to this collaborative approach. So how can a man cultivate this kind of quiet, grounded leadership? It begins by listening fully before offering direction and asking thoughtful questions instead of giving quick answers. Practice sharing your perspective with clarity, not with the need to convince, and invite collaboration in both small and big decisions. Most of all, lead with steadiness, not pressure. Because real leadership isn't about control, it's about creating a space where both people feel stronger, not smaller, by walking beside each other. Feel free to share your reflections in the comments below. And if this part of the video made you pause or think a little deeper, go ahead and tap like. It lets me know this kind of message is worth sharing. From this grounded way of leading, we arrive at the last insight. A type of vulnerability that, rather than weakening a man, makes him even more trustworthy and compelling. Number 5. Authentic vulnerability as strength. There's a quiet power that women over 60 often recognize, not in how much a man can control, provide, or protect, but in how willing he is to be real, truly real. Authentic vulnerability isn't about spilling every fear or insecurity. It's about being open enough to say, "This is what I've been through, and this is who I've become because of it." It's the strength to show scars without shame, and to invite connection not through perfection, but through truth. I once spoke to Elaine, a 63-year-old retired nurse, who said this about her partner David. "The first time I really fell for him wasn't when he complimented me or made me laugh. It was when he told me about losing his brother. He didn't cry. He didn't dramatize it. He just shared it with quiet honesty, and I could feel the weight he still carried. In that moment, I knew he'd never make me hide my pain either." This is what authentic vulnerability does. It gives permission, not just for connection, but for mutual humanity. And for women who've been strong for everyone else most of their lives, being with a man who can be soft without collapsing, open without oversharing, and brave enough to let her see the unguarded parts is profoundly healing. True vulnerability is not weakness. It is courage, offered gently, not demanded. And it's one of the rarest and most attractive forms of strength a man can show in the second half of life. The researcher Brené Brown has written extensively about vulnerability as the birthplace of courage, creativity, and change. For mature men, authentic vulnerability represents the ultimate expression of confidence, being secure enough in yourself to acknowledge your humanity, your limitations, and your genuine needs for connection and support. This authentic vulnerability as strength manifests in several ways that women find deeply attractive. These men can acknowledge fears and uncertainties without being paralyzed by them, share emotional needs without making others responsible for meeting them, ask for support when needed without losing their sense of agency, and express sadness or disappointment without becoming bitter or defeated. It takes tremendous strength to be honest about your fears, to acknowledge your limitations, and to remain open to love and connection, despite the inevitable losses and disappointments that come with age. The strength aspect is crucial. This isn't vulnerability that collapses into victimhood or demands rescue. It's vulnerability that acknowledges reality while maintaining hope, that faces challenges while refusing to be defeated by them. Women can sense the difference between authentic vulnerability and emotional manipulation or neediness. This quality also creates space for mutual support and genuine partnership. When both people can be vulnerable from a place of strength, they can support each other through life's challenges without either person becoming the caregiver and the other becoming the burden. So, start by practicing honest self-expression in small, intentional moments, sharing a story from your past not to gain sympathy, but to offer truth. Get comfortable saying, "This was hard for me," without apologizing for it. Allow yourself to ask for support not because you're broken, but because you're human. And most importantly, stay rooted in your strength. Let vulnerability come from self-awareness, not self-pity. As we conclude this exploration, these insights might transform not just your approach to relationships, but your understanding of your own value and appeal at this stage of life. The 5 secrets we've discovered: emotional availability without neediness, authentic confidence from self-knowledge, generous attention, wise leadership without control, and authentic vulnerability as strength, reveal something beautiful about human attraction that goes far beyond superficial considerations. They show us that what discerning women truly desire isn't youth, wealth, or conventional handsomeness, but rather the deeper qualities that can only develop through lived experience and emotional growth. What makes these insights particularly powerful is that they represent qualities you can develop and strengthen regardless of your age, appearance, or circumstances. These aren't gifts of genetics or luck. They're the fruits of conscious character development and emotional maturity. The ancient Greek concept of kalos kagathos referred to the ideal of being both beautiful and good. But the beauty they spoke of wasn't physical appearance. It was the beauty of character, wisdom, and authentic virtue. When you embody these 5 secrets, you become kalos kagathos in the truest sense. Remember that women over 60 have typically developed what I call authenticity radar. They can distinguish between genuine character and performed attractiveness. The path to becoming irresistible isn't through manipulation or technique, but through becoming genuinely attractive as a human being. If this perspective has been valuable to you, please subscribe to my channel and share these insights with other men who might benefit from understanding what truly makes them attractive to discerning women. Ring that notification bell, because conscious character development is one of the most important journeys we can undertake at any age. Thank you for joining me.